Jayend again for the second time today. I've been getting many requests to explain what I did further. I'm on a 41-hour fast, as you know, every Ekadashi, and walking on my terrace. And as I do that, as part of the Navagraha open-eyed, open everything meditation, I just like to explain because some people were confused and in fact saying that why is this particular order of the grahas in the Kundalini system in terms of the location of the various planets at the various chakras. Actually, it's quite simple. If we go back to our school physics, maybe middle school physics, we know the locations of the various planets, what is called as planet in the Western science, of which it's the only 5 which make a major influence on us and therefore we on them. Let's come back to that second part later. But as of now, it's basically Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And this particular order is quite obvious, even to a child, because that's the distance from the sun. I've left out the Earth because that's where we are, and the greatest influence is from the Bhumandala, the Earth itself. But if you look at the other planets, the closest to the sun, which is in the right eye, is the moon. In the sense that, not physically, but in terms of both of them, the sun and the moon, being luminaries. The sun in the right eye is a self-luminary, whereas the moon is a reflective luminary, reflecting the light of the sun. So they are placed together. And therefore, they are not actual planets. And therefore, they are not associated with any particular chakra, though they have a proximity to the Anya chakra. And that which is metaphysical beyond the body is the Rahu Ketu, the infinite loop. Now leave out these 4 grahas or consumers of our resources, so to speak. Grahana means to have, even to eat. We say bhojana grahanam, which means to consume. So these 4, the 2 luminaries, the sun and the moon, and the metaphysical Rahu and Ketu, symbolically represented by half a snake and half an asura, are not so-called planets by the definition of Western science. Now, if you leave out these 4 grahas, the other 5 are accepted planets. And if you see the order, the closest to the sun is Mercury, which is in the Vishuddhi chakra. The next is Venus, which is in the Anahata chakra, of course in the spinal cord. I'm showing it to you in the front just for illustration purposes. After Mercury and Venus, leave out the Earth. The next one is Mars, which is basically right above the navel, the Manipuraka chakra, and it's Martian, courage, chivalry, not blind, but based on a clarity of perception. And then we go further down, just below the navel, which is basically the place of Jupiter, Swadhisthana chakra. And you know, Jupiter is a planet which is further beyond the Earth. Already we have started from Mars to the exterior planets beyond the Earth's orbit. So Mars here and Jupiter here. And finally Saturn in our Muladhara chakra. So, which is the farthest amongst those which have the major influence. Uranus, Neptune do not make such a big difference, though Western astrology takes them into account in a large sense. And of course, Pluto is debatable still. So leaving aside Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto to the chakras below the Muladhara, which is Nothing to be bothered about right now. But coming back to what I said in the beginning, is these planets affecting us? Are we affecting them? Depends on our level of spiritual evolution, because these are one and the same. They're reflections of each other. It's mutual. So for those who are less evolved spiritually, they perceive it as if the grahas are influencing them. But as we evolve spiritually, we recognize the most important fact that it's we who are influencing them. So, in other words, the universe is a reflection of our interiority. And no two words about that. So, it's very important to recognize that. And this whole purpose of this open-eyed meditation that I initiated you into and have been performing myself on my own terrace is something to help us recognize the oneness of the interiority with the universe. Whether you see the universe as a reflection of you or you as the reflection of the universe, doesn't matter, because eventually they're one and the same. So it's like the sun and the moon. The two eyes are not very different from each other. It's not like because the right eye is the sun, it's much brighter, or the vision is much better than the left eye. In fact, in my case, it's the other way around. So let's not bother about all these trivialities. Focus on what I taught you, not as a teaching, but as an experiential sharing. Not as a guru, but as a co-yatri, as always, Katham, the journey that we are all making together. So let's enjoy this wonderful time, not just this morning and afternoon, but way beyond that as well, because the Navagrahas are like a diagnostic system, which basically connect the outer with the inner, and eventually they disappear into either one of them or both of them, depending upon whether you're in the Jnana Marga or the Bhakti Marga. So let's do it in a unified way as a Sankhya Yoga, which is basically an integrated form of yoga where you involve some level of bhakti or devotion, where you involve some level of knowledge or wisdom, jnana, and you also involve karma, because we can't get rid of all our actions, thoughts, and speeches as of now. So let's do it in such a holistic sense. And I hope you're enjoying this Sunday morning. Beautiful. In my case, even though it's past noon, well past noon, the clouds have been giving me the shade. And through them, I'm connecting to the Navagrahas, who are all in their own houses, which means in my own chakras as well. It's beautiful. I wish you a beautiful day, a beautiful life ahead, where you see everything in an all-inclusive manner. Jai Hind.